Well, hello. Isn't this luxurious? Why is my watch telling me stuff? It's probably telling me to get up now. I love it when I can tell my watch, now I'm not standing up. Now I'm not exercising. I love telling things no. Hi, it's Lucky How. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to chat about my laser tattoo removal, kind of how it's going, what are my thoughts, what are my feelings, because just showing you guys me going zap, 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 it's a bit different. It's maybe not as interesting as chatting about the experience and the process. How's the hair? The hair's okay. Anyway, so how is it going with my laser tattoo removal? As you know, if you've been watching my videos, I'm doing a big laser tattoo removal on my chest with Numbing Studios. They're in London. Yes, so I've been getting my chest tattoo removed, and there is a video on why I'm getting it removed. It's not because I hate it. It's not because it's bad work. I just really love the idea of changing something really obvious on my body. My chest is somewhere, now I've had like a breast reduction. I have small boobs and I love them. It's the best thing ever. I've always wanted them ever since I was young. And now I'm like, oh, the chest could be like totally different. What could it look like? So that's why I'm doing it. You can go and watch some of those videos. I'm on session number 4, I believe, and I'm going into session number 5 next week. I'm going down to London around every 3 weeks or so, just to make sure that, more than anything, that the train tickets aren't too expensive. Obviously, I'm doing kind of like a deal with Nama where they're sponsoring this tattoo removal and I'm talking about it and sharing my experience, mainly on Instagram. That was the deal, but it inspired me to start doing YouTube again, which I'm really enjoying, and it's been a great thing to focus on and relearn and get better at, because I've just been sitting around in my pajamas for a year, so it's been fun to do stuff. There are many sessions to go, and I would like to do it as fast as possible. If I was doing every 2 weeks, the healing would probably be okay for that most of the time, but the trains would be crazy expensive. So that's why I'm doing that. And it's going pretty good so far. I'm absolutely loving the introduction of the numbing cream. It is something they don't recommend because they don't really know how much the cream is going to reflect the laser, and you're going for this procedure that's pretty pricey and like takes pain and time, and you want the results to be as good as they can be. So you want the laser to be hitting as much of that pigment as possible and scattering it in your body to dissolve it. So with numbing cream, you're not quite sure what the effect is going to be. I've been leaving the B. I'll probably put some kind of like picture here on screen. I'm leaving the B unnumbed because it's the one on the end, and that hurts a lot when they laser it, but I'm doing that as an experiment to see over the next like 5 or 10 sessions, does the B change more than the numbed letters? I'm really hoping not. That would be a great result just for me. But I want to do that because they didn't tell me that I should use numbing cream. I'm doing something off my own bat, and now I'm blogging about it, so I want to be really honest and open, and also like do a little experiment so you guys can see that if the numbing cream helps the pain but makes it take a lot longer, that's good information, because if this tattoo is a little bit smaller than this one, I would recommend not using the numbing cream, of course. And if I wasn't such a baby with a low pain tolerance, I would also recommend not using it, because you're going to get the full power. But so far, 2 sessions with the numbing cream, I think, or maybe 2 or 3, I don't know, maybe 2, and maybe 3. But so far, it's all looking pretty similar. Last session, I had a little bit more pain. I don't know if the power was up a little bit higher, because the first couple of sessions, they do quite a low power of the laser to see, of course, how your skin handles a proper full session. It's not just the patch test, that they kind of gauge how you're reacting, and also if they can see that your skin's handling it well, they like can slightly move the power of the laser up a little bit to see if that breaks down the colors that you have a little bit better. They are really working every session. They're checking the breakdown of the colors, and they're kind of fine-tuning each session that you have. But still, no big blisters, no pus, no horribleness. The pain went away after a couple of days, and it's been more tender this time through the whole healing process, but it just flaked like normal, maybe a little bit more than normal, and the little bit of tenderness more so than normal, but like the pain really was just for those first couple of days. So that's been fine. I am feeling like I can see an obvious change in the tattoo. Because it's so colourful and so big, it's not like seeing a small tattoo slowly fade really obviously. it's obvious in a different way. I can see the colours are really muted compared to the colours on my neck and my arm. I can see little bits in the lines that are starting to have patches that aren't there. You know, the tattoo was a very, very good quality, and it's starting to look like it wasn't tattooed very well because little bits of it are being taken out. A lot of the green and the purple is almost gone, and you're just seeing a lot of the black and the shading and the grey that was laid down before the colours. One thing to remember if you're removing a tattoo is what kind of tattoo it is. If it's just black, it's going to have just black pigment on top of black. If you've got a little bit of colour, it's got black shading, colour, maybe the white. If you've got a really colourful tattoo, you're going to have outline, shading, some black shading, colour, layers of colour, and then the white on the top. So you've got to break down kind of all those layers before you start seeing patches of your own skin. So that's where I'm kind of at. I'm not really seeing massive patches of my own skin, but in little certain areas like the horns and some of the lines of the text, I'm seeing tiny little gaps that I know weren't there because the tattoo was, spick spot. When for all these years I've had it, it's never looked like that. So it's definitely changing. I also can see a massive difference in photos and videos that I've been watching, my old YouTube videos. I'm like, holy crap, I should do an updated tattoo tour, or just do something on my chest and show when I was filming my chest last time, because it's so obviously so much more vibrant. What else am I feeling? I'm feeling, of course, a little bit worried how it's going to look. People have been asking me if I'm going to tattoo over it, or a couple of people have said like, oh, thank God you're going to tattoo over it and you're not just removing it, because that wouldn't be right, which I think is funny because like it's my body and I'm going to do whatever I think is right. People's opinions on others' bodies is always like quite comical to me, but I'm not sure if I'm going to tattoo it. I'm going to see what I'm left with, and I would like to try and completely remove it and have kind of a bare naked skin chest, and see what that looks like with my neck tattooed, with my throat, with my collarbone, and with my arms and my stomach. What a huge change. I've had the chest tattoo before I had the stomach, before I had the neck, before I had the throat. The chest tattoo has been there so much longer than a lot of the other tattoos that are around it. My plan is to remove it as much as possible. I am worried about the black. Apparently the black can be quite stubborn with Nama, with their technology. It has its benefits compared to other lasers. It's not a comparison to other lasers, I want to mention, but I think the healing benefits and the less risk of like the big creepy healing process and the scarring and the time in between sessions is one of the biggest bonuses with Nama. But they have noticed that black can sometimes be a little bit more stubborn. So I'm really interested, but also, if I'm honest, a little nervous to see, once all the colours pretty much gone, I'm going to be left with quite a lot of black, because most every tattoo has an outline and shading, and that's going to be in black. So I've got like text, which is all lots of outline and lots of shading to create the text to make it look texty. And I'm nervous to see what's left and how that is going to progress once it gets just the black. And also I'm worried how it's going to look, because now it just kind of looks still like a tattoo to the random person on the street or in the mirror. It doesn't look like a tattoo that's getting removed. It's starting to, like, it's the colours are looking muted and weird. It's looking like a not as good quality tattoo. But it's only 4 sessions in. I mean, this is the very beginning of a long process. So I am worried how I'm going to feel about it when it starts looking like really patchy and there's like bits missing. Of course, I'm going to be really excited because it's working. Yay! All this stuff I'm doing is having an effect of what I want, which is removing it. But it's also not going to look super beautiful or finished or polished. So I'm prepared for that. And I'm going to see what the black looks like, and we'll just treat the black maybe a little bit differently when it gets to the point where there's just black. And there's a possibility that I'm going to be left with lots of black bits that are really, really stubborn, and then I can decide, do I want to keep having sessions to break them down bit by bit, or do I want to tattoo over it? Depending on how they look, we'll see. I'm so intent on like sitting through years of laser just to see like a completely empty chest. And I know that will sound crazy to people, not just non-tattooed people. I'm sure it sounds crazy to a lot of tattooed people. Like, why would you sit through all that? Why would you go through all that pain and money and all the rest of it? but I have so many tattoos. Like, I'm not craving to get a big new one. I have very little space left to get big tattoos, so I'm really conserving those spaces and putting them off to like have something to look forward to later on. So this is like the biggest change I can do to my body, and I absolutely love the power of change and the changes that I can see, and having this new relationship with my part of my body, my image and stuff. And maybe it's because I'm a very visual person. Maybe it's because of my personal approach and opinion and perspective to being tattooed or modified. But it's really cool to me, and I'm willing to go all this way. And I just really want to see what it looks like without any tattoos on there. So yeah, that's basically how it's going and how I'm feeling. If there is questions that you have about the laser treatment, let me know. I might ask Nama if I could meet with one of them, get permission from their media group to ask them questions, because obviously they're the professionals. They know the tech specs and all the information that I tell little bits, but I don't want to say something about the technology that's wrong and put it on YouTube and they're like, lucky how? Can you do that shit? Like, so maybe it will be cool to be able to interview someone there, but that'll be sometime in the future. So I'm going next week for session number 5. I'm going to film a little bit. I'm going to probably pop it in with the last 3 weeks ago session, and then do some before and after photos as usual. And yeah, let me know if you like this video. Was it interesting? Was it make sense? What else would you like to know? Hit me with your best shot. Oh God, that's a song. Hit me with your ideas. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, comment stuff. Wee! Have a good day, night, peoples. Goodbye. The coffee is wearing off.